Hello, and welcome to episode 119 on the Everyday Joy podcast. I'm your host, Joy Ravella. If you've been loving this podcast, I'd love for you to leave a written 5-star review. That really does help spread the word. We're going to dive straight into today's Bible verse. It comes from 2 Timothy. Let's get into it.
2 Timothy 2:24 from the ERV. As God's people, you must not argue. You must be kind to everyone. You must be a good teacher, and you must be patient.
With me here in studio, I have the amazing Sharon back again. It's been a while.
Yes, it's lovely to be back with you, Joy.
I think there's been a few major changes since the last time we recorded. The last time you were a new grandma. Well, not a new grandma. You had one grandchild, and as of today, you now have...
I have another grandchild. Woohoo! A little baby boy was born a day ago yesterday. And I'm over the moon. He's so beautiful, and he's a clone of his dad, my son. Absolutely.
And your son looks exactly like your husband, so those genes are strong. Oh gosh, I love babies, and I absolutely love the fact that we can talk about relationships and children and birth and all those sorts of things. And we are going to unpack a lot of that over the course of this week. Sharon, you're going to share in later episodes this week stories about your husband and your children as well. So lots to look forward to. Today, though, we are, going straight for the jugular here with 2 Timothy 2:24. As God's people, you must not argue. You must be kind to everyone. You must be a good teacher, and you must be patient. I think my first impression of this verse is that it's written with lots of full stops. Lots of you must.
Absolutely.
And I think he's just not mincing his words here. He's just like, you know what? I'm not going to flower this up. This is how, as God's people, you must behave.
Impossible. That was my first impression. This verse is impossible, God. I am not kind. I try to be a teacher, but I come off as just, lecturing from on high. And I am not patient. God, I need help to do this verse. And looking at arguing, I'm thinking, what's in a word, God? What does it mean not to argue? What does argue even mean? Does it mean having a professional debate? Does it mean looking smart and putting the other person down, winning an argument?
Yeah, and I think everyone has a very different definition of that, especially if you grew up in a household where maybe you had to walk on eggshells a little bit. An argument can be the slight inflection, the slight tone of anger, and everything inside you just kind of pulls back because you're now afraid because it could lead to an argument. Whereas there are other families where they're just very loud. I remember going to Italy once, and there were these I sounds like so fancy. I went to Italy once, saved for 7 years, might I add, and we went there for 9 days because that's all we could afford. So anyway, my sister and I were there, and we were on this bus, and we were driving through the city, and there was this couple just ripping into each other, hand gestures, just shouting, and our tour guide lowered the window, and she said she listened in to what they were saying, and she looked at all of us because we were all a little shocked. We were like, man, this is a whole marriage breakdown going on the side of the road. And she said, yeah, they're just talking about their dinner plans.
Oh my goodness.
And she's like, Italians are just very expressive, and the way you talk is very intense, lots of gestures. And so I guess what you were saying a bit earlier, what it means to argue is so different to every single experience that we have.
Well, I grew up in the Middle East. And in Israel, people are very much like in Italy. They are voluble, they are loud, they are in your face all the time in the nicest possible way. Yeah. They shout at you not because they're angry, it's because they're making a point and being friendly. Yep. And I, in my nature, tend to be really quiet and shy. I literally used to hide behind my mother's skirts. So for me, the whole idea of even expressing your opinion, is that an argument? I don't know. I didn't grow up that way, but it feels wrong.
What does this tell you, Sharon, about who God is or what he values?
God values motives. God values the thinking behind the words. And I think this verse is telling me not so much to be careful what I sound like, but to challenge my motives behind the words I'm about to say. So for me, it's about, why would I get into a situation of an argument? Is it because I want to look smarter, better? Is it because I want to put down the other person? Is it because I want to help the situation and get to a common solution? So there's a lot in it about motive and thinking and being deliberate. And I think God is all about us living the deliberate life, the thought out life. He's not about us just being reactive and impulsive and saying the first thing that comes into our heads. He's about us thinking and before we speak, which is a little bit hard for me.
But I think you're so right in that point. It is about motive and intention, because, and I'm so sure I touched on this in a previous episode, I feel like as humans we are hardwired to know what someone's true intention is. We know when there's something not quite right. We know when this person is just using flattery. We know when someone's being genuine. And I think over time we get better at reading that, but it's so true. I think we respond really well when someone comes with the right motivation, the right intention, even though it sounds harsh. We'll take it on board because it's coming from a good place.
Yeah, and we can sense it. And I've got a personal story later on to share about sensing the motive and how helpful that can be or how destructive it can be.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, why don't we get into that now? So how has this verse come alive in your everyday world?
Oh, it comes alive, all right. So as the listeners know, I've been married for a while. I'm a grandmother and I've been married for nearly 40 years now. And my marriage has been the best training ground for how to argue well. I call it the art of arguing, because when I came into my marriage, I was very young and foolish. I was particularly foolish anyway. But the arguing issue began quite early on in the marriage because, he never took out the bins. He kept things lying around. I was the only one picking things up. Again, anyway, I got quite petty very quickly and felt my dear husband wasn't pulling his weight. And I made sure he knew all about it. And my intention, looking back in horror and shame, my intention was to just put him down, put him in his place and win a point and get him to do more without any consideration of what he was doing in this marriage, that he might be thinking, oh, she's not pulling her weight, I'm working really long hours, which is true. He was working 12 hours a day, 2 jobs, so that I could stay home and bring up our children. So I was so focused on my perceived wrongs that I just hoed into him time and time again. I was not a nice person to him, and I'm really grateful to him that he stuck by me and we together worked on how to live well and argue well.
Yeah, and I think that example that you've shared, the reason why I was smiling a bit is because we have all been there and we all know someone who's, when you said taking out the bins, it's just like
huge trigger for me.
This is a universal thing, I believe, but it's so true. When we think of the word argue, I think we naturally think about these really big situations, these big life arguments. But I love how you brought forward an everyday scenario that I think we all can deal with, these little moments where you sort of butt heads. So bearing in mind the fact that a lot of people can relate to your story, there was obviously a shift where you went from, this approach isn't working, to being able to move past that and recognize and respect each other. What was the shift that happened in that moment? Was there a time that you were kind of humbled or you realized the pain you were causing?
Yeah, all of that. I felt I didn't like myself when I was putting my husband down. I felt it was wrong. I didn't like the person, the petty, argumentative, whinging person I was becoming. So it was a big motivation for me to just look elsewhere. So I picked up a Christian counseling book. It's a wonderful book. I don't know if you can get it anymore. It was called The Lies We Believe. It was written by a Christian psychologist in the States. And I started reading it, and it really spoke to me about how we think about ourselves, about thinking before you launch into your big argument, about how you treat the other person. And my husband also read it, and we worked through together how to argue in a way that meant we were moving forwards, getting closer together, not further and further apart, as we really wanted our marriage to work. And I think the marriages, like it's like you said earlier, arguments often in a household don't come from a huge argument problem. They come from all these petty little arguments mounting up until someone says, I've had enough. But that usually comes after years and years of all these petty little things building up and changing you and pulling you apart. And that's what we didn't want to happen to us. And look, most of our arguments, probably all of them, are with people we know, people we are in a relationship with, people we love and care for. And so we do need to, it's helped me to just pray for the person that you're arguing with.
So as we wrap up today's episode, for that person who's listening right now and they are in the middle of it, they don't like the version of themselves they've become as a result of being really argumentative, and this verse is a real challenge. For that person, what would be one thought or one encouragement that they can take on board as a result of today's chat?
When you argue with someone you love, remember the common goal. Just look beyond. Try and take your eyes off your thoughts and your feelings and look at that other person's eyes. Look in their eyes and try and just listen to them for a bit, and you'll probably find that they have the same fears and the same motivation as you to grow closer together and to become a better version of yourself together.
I think the heart of this episode is asking yourself that challenging question. Is there something that I need to change in myself rather than expecting the other person to change first? We all know this quote. It's a tough pill to swallow sometimes, but it is the truth. Sometimes you have to be the change that you wish to see. And if you're not liking the environment, if you aren't liking the person you're becoming, if you just don't like the situation, then you can kickstart the change. And sometimes that does require going to God, asking for forgiveness, asking Him to give you fresh insight and fresh inspiration, but also asking Him to help you see what's really going on, the bigger picture, the marriage, the relationship, the work culture, the mission and vision of what you're trying to accomplish. There's always a bigger picture, and maybe that's something that you can focus on today. Now, speaking of focusing and big pictures, a lot of these sorts of things require the ability to see, to quite literally use your eyes to see. All through the month of July, CBM Australia is offering you the opportunity to give someone that gift of sight through a $33 gift. That's going to provide someone with sight-saving surgery. And for us, it's $33. For them, it's a miracle. And that's what you can do. Maybe for you, that is a part of being the change that you wish to see, taking that step in the next direction for you. The link to that is in the description below. Hey, that wraps up today's episode on the Everyday Joy podcast. I'm looking forward to catching up again tomorrow with Sharon. She's got an incredible history in biblical Hebrew. She's studied it. She's got a lot of life experience. And I know we're going to dive into that more later this week. So look forward to catching up again tomorrow on the Everyday Joy podcast.